So here we have my latest and greatest, like, Franken build of spare parts, and I'll be running down what went into this masterpiece. I'm calling it the SSG-9, obviously, because it's a G&G ARP9 with an SSG stock, and it is a little bit more than that. We'll go into that in a minute. But we used a pretty much stock ARP9. It was the old version, so not the new one with the nice MOSFET. It's the old one that where you used to spam the trigger, it would time out, and you'd have to reconnect the battery because it stopped shooting and overheat. So I didn't like that, obviously. So I gutted the internals of the gearbox. I left the barrel the same. I left the upper the same, lower the same, grip, everything. The only things I did change was the base plate for the motor, so it would fit the SSG motor. So there's a HPA build from someone I was building for, and they said, oh, you can just keep all the gears and all the internals from the AEG. So I swapped it out, whacked it all in here. I put only the gears, and I left the spring stock, I left the cylinder stock, the piston stock, and then it was just the gears, the trigger unit I put in from the SSG, and then the motor. That basically meant it shot fine. So I did swap it all out for the SSG internals, and it was only running like 100 FPS, so I just kept swapping bits out until I got the desired amount, and that was basically these internals, and that shoots perfectly with the SSG internals. Now, I did put a speed trigger on it. These are actually called speed triggers, very similar to the ones that I used in my Polar Star. Literally the same brand, just a different colour. Now this one was a leftover from my old Polar Star build, so I bought a ESG from Monk Customs build that someone built, and it came with blue trigger. Obviously my theme is purple, so I wanted to swap that out for a purple one. And I just had this in a drawer for ages. I was going to sell it, it didn't sell, and then I just kept it in my parts drawer. And when I had all these different bits, I thought, let's swap it out. So basically, I'll show you this trigger. Yeah, this is mad. It's like no pull on it whatsoever. It's literally just a little switch. Really nice. Literally my go-to triggers because they're completely flat here. It gives you a nice little like hold on it. Favorite stocks ever. These are just absolutely brilliant. You can angle them. I personally like this first angle, and then I also like to keep it fully collapsed. I know some people put it out all the way. I like keeping it in there so it's tight. So it's basically like a little Euro build. And yeah, it's so comfortable to use. Flat top, haven't put anything on it. Left all these bits in as well. Didn't do the blanking kit because I thought the green looked nice. Obviously the blue looks a bit out of place, but when you're pulling the trigger, you can't really tell. So I thought it looked quite nice. And the charging handle doesn't actually work, so I'm going to have to change that out and put something in there so the bolt will actually release. We have got an M-lock rail that I put on here on the side, so I can put a torch on there. The flash hider was also just from my spare parts bin. Basically, just a metal flash hider. No idea where it came from. I have a feeling it's from an AK maybe. I don't know. I took off the stock ARP one because I don't really like it, to be honest. Now it sounds cool. To be fair, I used to have an ARP9. I used to have a red one, but I sold it, and it sounds nice. It's really like cracky when it shoots, but it just doesn't look good. It's so big. It's like really wide. Let me see if I've got it here to hand. I don't think I do. I had it somewhere. But it's just really wide, and it looks like it's aggressive, mind, but it's just really big and it looks goofy. And because it's green, if it's black, it would look so much cooler. Because it's green, it makes it look even more like a toy than it already is, with all these little fancy parts. But yeah, it uses the SSG MOSFET, so it's got the one from the original SSG that I just literally plugged in, back in there, it's rewired to the stock again, and it's literally the SSG-9, coolest thing ever. So I'll probably use this in a few games soon. I haven't actually used it yet. I used it at the shooting range, but I never got around to it because of my high kappa build, so I've been using that a lot more, and I still need to get around to using this, so I'll probably do a gameplay video eventually. I'll play like one game with it just to show you how it performs and how it feels, because it's super nice. Now the ARP mags is the only thing that's a downside, but it's kind of an upside too, because it's really short. compact, but they just don't hold as much. They're hard to get hold of. Obviously everything I've run has M4 mags, but it's pretty cool. I like it as a build, nice and comfortable. Yeah, so I'll put a link to the speed trigger in the description below. Yeah, not sure about the other part. It's literally just an SSG and an ARP9. I guess I'll put a link to those two as well, so you can buy them and build your own if you want to. Yeah, that's it for this one. Make sure you like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks.